there. So this week's box is called Louie's Dahlias, and that's because we have got some dahlias from Louie's farm in Half Moon Bay, and it's actually the first week of the year for dahlias, so we're really excited. There's 3 different varieties. This one is called Eileen, and then we have the Royal and the Naomi, which are more of a maroon burgundy colour tone. We have straw flower. This is from Lupe in Daly City, and Scabiosa, and bay leaf. So many elements in this one. Astleby. So Astleby is really cool because it has a nice like feathery texture to it, and it starts off in this blush colour tone, but then really quickly transitions to this kind of more browny tone. But it dries and holds really nicely for a long period of time too. And then peonies. So this arrangement is actually really simple. It's pretty consistent with our kind of design principles, which is let's just start with the greenery first. So the bay leaf, just to build shape. So the garden vase is, I think it's 6 inches by 4.5 inches in width, and it just works to, works really nicely with this one actually, because it's actually quite short. But you could also go narrower and taller too, which would mean you don't have to cut as much off the dahlias, especially because they're pretty tall. Whereas with this vase option, we're going to have to cut them down quite a bit. So you'll have 2 Sarah Bernhardt peonies in your boxes. So this peony is actually not. We are so tight on peonies today. So this is actually right before 4th of July. So you'll have 2 of these. So I'm just using this as an example. It is beautiful, I know, but just as a reference, you'll have 2, but they'll both be Sarah Bernhardt ones. And you can see that I've already used these, so they're cut pretty short, but essentially you just want to strip the leaves from the stems and then just give them a fresh cut. And really what you're looking to do is kind of fill them inside the middle of the greenery. I'd say that the dahlias for me are like the most exciting part. So the thing about Louie's dahlias is his dahlias are actually more expensive than other varieties, and that's because he has a great colour tone, but they also have really strong stems, and as far as dahlias go, they're pretty resilient. So these should last for at least a week. Typically dahlias only really last for like 4 to 5 days. So it's just the nature of the flower, like they don't absorb water very quickly. But what you want to do is, can you see it has like this branchy part here? Cut that off, cut the stem down. Depending on how big the stem is, you might need to cut it down quite a bit. So you're gonna cut that off, cut the stem down, and then basically you're just adding them inside the bay leaf wherever you want them to go. They can kind of poke in different directions too. So my advice on that is just like embrace the natural flow of the dahlia, honestly, because if you try and be too fussy about exactly where you want them to go, because they've got really top heavy heads, they just wobble in their own kind of direction anyway, like that. And then we've got our secondary elements. So we've got the Scabiosa and the straw flower. With the straw flower, I would remove the leaves from it because I don't think they're particularly that beautifully looking, and you want to cut it down quite short because they wobble and lean over time, and then you're really using it to kind of fill in any space. So I might put this at the back of mine. Has a really obviously straw-like texture to it, hence where it gets the name. And then the same for the Scabiosa, just clean the stems. I'd suggest keeping these a little bit longer because you can kind of have them lean in different directions to help build shape, which is nice. Like that. Like that. Maybe we'll have it come over here like that. And last but not least, we have the Astleby. So just cut these down. You want to just use them to kind of complement the shape like this. They're just a bit of a textural element, honestly. And then I would suggest kind of turning it around, just playing around with the exact positioning. You see this dahlia, actually, I'm going to cut it down a little bit more because it's just a little bit tall. Tuck it in like that. And there we go.